I think we forged a family quite early, despite university being dispersed with Belize City, Dalmopan, Punta Gorda, and even some of the people, one or two people in the Keys. I think by and large we were one family, and I will certainly emphasize that in Belmopan we created one beautiful family on that campus because that's where the president's office was and the senior administrators. But I never ever not tried to bring in Belize City, and I fell in love with Punta Gorda, that little campus, and I made several visits there, engaging the staff, and I did several things there to improve that little campus. See, I think I give my predecessors a lot of credit. By the time I arrived in 2017, which was before our 20th anniversary, I think the University of Belize was cemented as one organization. Granted, we were in disparate sites. I think the one that was probably the former University College of Belize may have been the one that was a little bit more distant, but I would give the deans. I would give the deans like Bernard Watler and company considerable credit for helping me bring the University of Belize as one, and we were one. I really think that those who went before me did a great job. One of our biggest fundraising events at UWI in Trinidad was the principal set, the carnival set. It raised millions of dollars, and we created an endowment fund to give scholarships to deserving students. That is precisely what I tried to replicate at UB. We had the fund, we were set, we developed the fund, and we actually gave scholarships out after that first step. But I tell you what, what was the preamble to that set? I also had the annual Christmas party at the University of Belize. The president had all of his staff at Belmopan under the Palapa in a big Christmas party, which turned out to be a Christmas set. It was beautiful. It brought the community of UB people together. Some may have never even visited Belmopan, the campus there. From Punta Gorda, they came by bus from UB Central Farm, from Belize City. It was a tremendous gathering, and I had it every year since that time. With always a great Belizean band, we had a great time. We had a tremendous time. I enjoyed myself. But the set was the prelude to the Belize University's Advancement Fund. And it created income, and we gave scholarships. The UB, as a national university, its identity was emerging, certainly in Belize. The message I got when I got there, that this thing was seen more like a 2-year associate degree college. I wanted UB to become a full-fledged university. And there were gaps there that had to be filled. And I worked with my team, and I had a wonderful team at UB. Wonderful people, management team, students who are very accommodating, very understanding. But by and large, UB students are very proud of their national university. Iruta Maya, for example, the canoe race, a big event in San Ignacio. The relay race from Belmopan to Belize City. The cycle race that we had. Those things. And then we had the UB Feds. The flag raising ceremony also lifted our national consciousness and our participation in the Independence Day celebrations. We had a float. We were there as part of the celebrations on the streets. And one of my fondest memories is a photograph I have with myself and my daughter and UB students on a truck driving through Belmopan celebrating. So the things that we did there with the students and with the faculty really raised the profile of University of Belize. And the president was out in front. I was not bystander. I was out in front because that's the kind of person I am. I recall the work done by Dean Watler and his staff in Belize City to put the MBA program in, to set it up and get it approved by the academic council. We used some support I gathered from the Lockjack School of Business from Trinidad to help put all of that together. And of course, from the Cable School of Business. And that was a tremendous success. One of the most pleasurable moments for me, if I recall, was the 2019 graduation ceremony, where I think we had 16, the first MBA graduates from the University of Belize, first master's graduate from BB. 16 of them. 16 of them, because that MBA program became very successful, as did an MEd program that was started by my colleagues in the Faculty of Arts and Education, led by a very good dean. And I'm sorry to know what is passing, may his soul rest in peace, Dean Chan. Dean Chan was also an educator, an academic, but one who was driven to move his faculty forward. And we had that MEd program also launched in education, training of teachers at the high level. So all in all, I mean, that is the master's level. But those are the things that push you to becoming more of what a university ought to be, that makes a university respected, would be the quality of its graduates. And that begins with the quality of its programs, the quality of its lecturers, the quality of its instructors, all of that. And therefore, the idea of quality assurance, the idea of national and regional accreditation of our programs was central to my own thinking. I mean, we could have a lot of great times and fun and frolic and all of that. That's great. I enjoy that myself. But I make no compromise with respect to the quality of our programs. And so I came from the UWI, where our programs in engineering, in medicine, everything was accredited. Our entire campus was accredited. And so I moved to put in to bring in a good leader to advance the cause of accreditation, who had that experience. And if I recall, she came from UE, from Mona in Jamaica. She may have been Trinidadian, but she was based in Jamaica. And we launched in a big way our accreditation drive with a very respected organization, SACS. I wanted to extend our reach to our three campuses, but we were also trying to reach out to the north in Corozal. We were trying to reach out to the south, beyond PG. We were in Independence. We were trying to reach out into San Pedro. I signed agreements with all of those colleges to launch our programs there. And to do that cost effectively, and also to support students who are working students, online programs were something that we should do. And so with the help of some able people I had there, both my ICT people and someone whom I always admired for her knowledge, Dr. Palmer, we began training people for online education. So when COVID did hit in March, I think it was 2020, if I recall, time flies, many of our instructors were already trained. Now, they weren't as experienced, but they were trained. I always take a position that when you walk on a university campus, people like myself, and I've visited so many in the world, you immediately get a sense of the quality of this place. When I came to University Belize in 2017, and I think I had come in November, December for my interview. And when I took the job up, I came in February. But when I walked onto the Belize City campus, I was I walked in there and I was speaking to Dr. Falasio, who's not repentant. And I knew his father very well. Very good man at UE. So we immediately struck up a good friendship. And I was talking to him, informing him, said, Doc, this place don't look good. And I took on the matter of our physical infrastructure as a central issue. So that when people come into our campus, both Belizeans, both students, both visitors, they would say, you know what happened? This is a small university, but a beautiful campus. And I immediately began to lift the Belmopan campus. If you recall, and you asked me about the relationships with the staff and the students and the people, and it was a great one. We began a voluntary program of working on the Saturdays to lift Belmopan. We began by repaint, and these are low-hanging fruits. We repainted every building with the white and purple colors of UV, lifted them. The roadways and the parking lots, they were riddled with potholes, literally riddled. I got in a paving contractor. We did all the roads. We did the parking lots. And we also did that in Belize City campus. We painted the first building, the one in front, and which is now called the G.N. Gandhi Memorial Building. And that came under my watch. That came as part of what I call the institutional advancement effort, and for which the endowment fund got funds. With those funds, we lifted that building, which is really a flagship building of University of Belize, the Belize City campus building. One of the things I did that I'm very proud of, when I went to Punta Gorda and I walked into that campus for the first time, they had a building there with a thatched roof. Now, granted, a thatched roof is probably symbolic of Belizeans' cultural history, so there's nothing wrong with that. It was leaking all over leaking. I immediately changed it out to a more modern building, put in 1 or 2 more rooms in the building because it was also used as an assembly hall. Fix that up. Before I left, if you had gone to Punta Gorda, you would have seen a building, barrack-type building, an oval-shaped building, oval roof. It was a barracks from the days of the war. I don't know if it was World War I or World War II. Again, desperate state. I took it down and I built a new teaching and learning building there. Modern, air conditioned, all of that. So that's in Punta Gorda. And of course, Punta Gorda, we lifted the main building there, painted it, and I had a wonderful director at PGA, Mr. Palacio. He took a lot of pride, and he was very supportive. I think before I left, I ensured that the volleyball and the volleyball field was made proper with lights, so that the students could play there at nights, and things like that. If you looked at our transformation plan, that was centrally in there to create a program in medicine. And I am so happy that it has started. I think they took in their first cohort of students, the second one. And this is where a little university needed leadership that provided confidence that we could do it. And with the help of my colleagues, starting with Leolin, she laid the groundwork for it. And through the nursing program, we went into medicine with also considerable help from the Faculty of Science and Technology because it was all together. We didn't have a lot of resources, but I used the resources I had that we generated. I tell you something, these buildings were not built with government money. None of them. They were built with income earned under my stewardship. And so we had to be modest about what we do, but, reflective of a beautiful campus. We can have multi-story buildings per se, but we had single-story buildings that were beautifully nestled within the trees and the forests and the shrubbery of Felma Pond. One of the things that we did, and with the help of the students, was to increase gradually. And I use the word gradually. We use the coin language stepwise. We brought to the board of trustees a stepwise increase in tuition fees. Year by year, I think at the bachelor's level, it was going to be a three-step process, incremental, as well as the associate level. And that paid huge dividends to the income of the University of Belize. But more than that, the tuition income of University of Belize was divided almost equally between government subvention and income from students. Well, one way to increase the income from students is to increase your enrollment. The enrollment reached 5,200 students. From possibly 4,000 students when I came, almost a little bit more than 25% increase. So not only was that raising the profile of UB within the national community, more UB students, more pride in our country, more pride in our university, but it was increasing the finances to the university. But we put in a voluntary separation process to tighten up the university. University cannot be seen as an employment bureau. People have to be doing productive work. And we voluntary separation program introduced with clear benefits. If you volunteer to leave, I think about 80 staff members took it up. So we reduced the staff complement from about 400 plus staff and faculty to about 320. I never touched the academics. Never did anything to touch them because they represent the core of your university. Without academics, you can't teach, you can't have students, you can't have income. It was more the ancillary staff. In fact, not more, all were ancillary. The other thing that we did, which I did with much regret, of course, I did that because it was necessary at the time with a reduced subvention. It was to protect the university. I proposed that our COVID was about to ebb at that time. This was around July, August 21. I proposed to the board that we reinstate the salaries of our staff and faculty because I think we were beginning to see light, that this COVID was not going to drastically change our finances, except if the government did another cut. That is something you're never sure of. But that's where I left it. My last word to the board, restore the salaries of our people. This is a big one, 25 years. You have done extremely well for a small institution. I was pleased to be part of that journey for 5 years. You have grown during this period. You are establishing yourself rightfully among the places of national and regional universities. I wish you well in the next leg of your journey, but universities are not built in 10 years or 20 years or 25 years. Universities are built in 100 years. You have a long journey ahead, and I wish you well in that journey. Never lose sight of your goals as a university. You're there to serve your students in the first place, to meet the needs of the Belizean community, to produce graduates who will perform efficiently and effectively advancing the Belizean cause. But you also need to move on that new frontier of research, development, and innovation, and pursue research on everything that is Belizean. Because Belize has so much to research and write upon so that the world can take notice of this little gem in Central America. Congratulations. Best wishes for the future.